Welcome back to Lisa Teaches Reading. Today I want to share First Chapter Friday book that supports your struggling readers, your ADHDers, kids who have executive functioning issue, or anyone who struggles with just finishing a book. The book I want to share with you is a scary story, and First Chapter Friday is great for highlighting all of the different types of genres that are out there. But for kids who really struggle with completing a book, scary stories are a genre of books that typically have a pretty good success rate. Don't assume that all kids who struggle with reading or finishing a book will always like a scary story book, but it's a pretty good shot that it's a pretty good one that you could try to see. And so today I want to share with you Wait Till Helen Comes by Mary Downing Hahn. This is a classic ghost story. It is super creepy. It's fantastic. Be careful in your grade levels when you're sharing this. This is actually a great one to do for Chapter Friday instead of a read aloud. You certainly can do a read aloud, a class read aloud with it, but depending on the population, like some parents might not appreciate you sharing a ghost story, and there truly is a ghost. There's a ghost named Helen because, spoiler alert, she does show up in the book, about the middle of the way in the book. I like to share this with the students, and I like to set this up. And for First Chapter Friday, I highly suggest don't read the first chapter of Wait Till Helen Comes. Read the good part, and the good part is in the middle of the book on it's in chapter 9, and this book, chapter 9, starts on page 94. It's kind of a lengthier chapter. It's about 15 pages, and Helen does show up in the middle of the chapter. If you want to read the whole one, it's a good snippet. The background of this story is that we have Molly here, her brother Michael, and Molly's mom have joined a family with Heather and Heather's dad. Molly's mom and Heather's dad got remarried, and they have now moved to the countryside. They're kind of like hippie artists who live in a rebuilt church, and they have their little artsy studio that they're so focused on that the kids kind of wander around the countryside. In their church home that they purchased, it comes with an old ancient graveyard, a little cemetery that Heather here is very fascinated by. I love to share, there is an updated cover of this book that is, a little more modern. I love sharing this one because it's such a fantastic conversational piece with what is that boy doing? And then we get to talk about things like what is a mullet, and the fact that that's actually a girl named Heather. So Heather's a snot. She's a terrible, awful girl. And what's nice about sharing this book is that not only do you get the scary story crowd of fans, but you also get kids who maybe are, families, their parents might be divorced, or maybe they have step siblings. And Heather makes things pretty miserable. She gets pretty nasty and is very unkind and mean to Molly and her brother, and she really doesn't even like the mother at all. She's real nasty to her. And so at the end of chapter 9, the reason that I suggest you try and highlight the good part instead of the first chapter is because the last paragraph on page 109 is Heather being kind of whiny, and she says, "Just wait, Molly." Heather whispered in my ear in a voice almost as chilling as Helen's. "Just wait till Helen comes. You'll be sorry for all the things you've done to me." So it's a great book to kind of hook those kids in, get their interest. It is about 180 pages, 184 pages. If you have students who really struggle pulling themselves through with this one, giving them that structure of knowing kind of when to expect Helen coming and highlighting some of the awful mean things that Heather does really can pull students through. But don't forget about all the amazing anthology series of scary stories. Don't forget also to highlight, if the kids want to check out Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and some other things that would be classified as folktales. In a lot of libraries, those books are not in the scary story section of fiction. They are actually located in the nonfiction section of the library, and they are categorized with the other folk tales because they're told orally, they're passed down from generation to generation. So I always make it a point in my library at the beginning of the year to show students where those are located, because these students, ones that struggle with executive functioning, won't put that very odd characteristic apart. They'll just think that it's in the scary story section and it's just checked out. So try Wait Till Helen Comes or any of the anthology series of scary stories, because those are fantastic as well. Don't forget to check out my blog, Lisa Teaches Reading, and other book suggestions for First Chapter Friday on my channel. And then I do have a Teachers Pay Teachers store. You can check out some of my various executive functioning literacy resources that are available there. I'll see you next time.